Hello, Luis. Shri Mataji.
Shri Mataji, Daniel. Thank you for
Welcome,
inviting me
welcome,
once more.
and thank you
You,
for coming back to our very interesting discussion. And welcome to everybody who are watching us. And thank you again for looking to our conversation. This time, I have some um, interesting memories from Luis. So we didn't meet for quite a long time. I hope you don't forget. In the meantime, you didn't forget about Luis, who is a very old Sahaja Yogi. I mean, old in Sahaja Yoga. He's not old Sahaja. so, um, so we have some. To my surprise, I mean, actually, I shouldn't be surprised because all the time we remember something from our childhood or our experiences with Shimataji, especially people who have a lot of them. Of them. So, okay, enough with this introduction. I hope, Luis, you will bring a little bit of info about yourself because maybe some people don't watch our previous um, programs. So just a little bit about your beginning, and after that you talk about your childhood and everything you want to tell us.
thank you. Thank you, Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji asked me to record my memories, and my Sahaj experiences. So, what's the definition of a Sahaj experience? Of course, something with mother in person, definitely that's a Sahaj experience, or something we are doing for Sahaj Yoga or within Sahaj Yoga, it's a Sahaj experience. But I think I need to go back a little bit to the times even before Sahaj, today, just to give some context. So I was born in Portugal, Lisbon, and I was living in Lisbon. My father used to go to the football a lot, He had this type of annual ticket, So he was taking me to the football from very young age.
It was by the
But
time of Eusebio.
yes, back in those days, yes. Although, well, for a different club, my father was with the Sporting of Lisbon, not with the Benfica. Eusebio was from Benfica, but occasionally we saw him. He was coming to play against Sporting of Lisbon.
Yeah.
So, apart from now, the football it comes into it for this reason. Portugal was, going through a difficult period in history. We're trying to keep the colonies, one of the few countries that was defying the United Nations, trying to keep the colonies in Africa. There was war. The people were being trained as soldiers to go to that war to keep the colonies.
In
And there
Angola.
was in Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, Guinea, all those places, we had colonies, all over the world from the past. And it was a terrible situation because it was highly illegal and against international law for Portugal to try and do that. And of course, there were people in Portugal who wanted a revolution. They wanted to revolt against the police state because we were very controlled by the police. Even at school, we were being trained to, it was a military style, the training at school, because one day we would have to go and defend our colonies, that type of philosophy and attitude. So the citizens were very angry with the authorities, and they never missed a chance to attack the police if the police was outnumbered, for instance. So at the football, that was one of those situations. You see, sometimes such a big crowd of people and just a few horsemen, to defend the gates, to stop people from coming inside the football stadium without paying. That's basically the function of those horsemen. But, the crowd, especially in winter, they are carrying umbrellas, with a sharp point, metal sharp point, those old style umbrellas. They would poke the horse, attack the horse, get the guard on the floor. Once on the floor, they would attack him. And then the greatest dishonor for a soldier is they managed to steal the gun from him and the sword and attack him and hurt him. I remember this type of situations. The horseman would fall off, the legs were broken under the horse. The boy, he was a young man usually. Those soldiers doing that duty were not very high rank. They were young. And you could see them crying in pain. They fell from the horse. They are hurt. The crowd is attacking them. They are trying to steal their gun and their sword to dishonor them, and even the uniform is being destroyed. So they were being really. Those boys were really, young men were really in tremendous disaster. Meanwhile, other horsemen, sometimes they spot there's an incident and they start charging into the crowd. Now, when the other horsemen charge into the crowd to defend that man who is down, that's when the crowd, usually that horseman comes with an open sword, slashing the people. There's blood everywhere because he has to defend the guy who is down. So, meanwhile, the crowd starts moving in all directions and there's a stampede and it's so dangerous. Several times I almost died there in the process because I was very young. So in the end, I gave up football. I mean, I gave up football in terms of attending a football stadium with my dad because it became so dangerous that I felt that's it. I've had enough of football. Virtually gave up football, except I was still playing with my mates at school, in the playground. We've always played football. Even going to church, we take a ball to church and play outside outside the church. We always played a lot of football with very rough kids. I remember coming home with a bleeding nose many a times with blood on my shirt. That was playing football with very rough kids there in the church, in the church yard. So this was a rough area, that church. Never mind. So this was the background. So I've seen so many from childhood. Then at school, of course, sometimes people were also talking against the government, and the police would come with the Alsatian dogs. We had the Alsatian dogs there at the gate. We were always afraid, oh my God, will they come in the school or not? They were just there to deter, to frighten us. Why? Because there was someone had a political meeting at school criticizing the government, criticizing the war in Africa. So you were in that state always of disturbances at school, stampedes at school. Also, if the police came with the dogs, my God, the stampedes there, people were running in all directions. It was frightening. So I've been in those situations of realizing that if there's a certain disorder in a crowd for some reason, because the authorities come to charge against the crowd, then anything can happen. So there was a little disturbance at airport with mother, and a few times I saw those disturbances because the yogis were at the airport. Mother was coming, and they were staying put, giving flowers to mother. But the situation at the airport can change very fast because suddenly two or three flights may arrive virtually at the same time. Then there's a huge crowd of people wanting to come with their luggage and trolleys. And if the Saj Yogas are there stationary, with attention on mother, giving the flowers, then the security guards at the airport start asking us to move to the side or get out of the way. We are blocking the traffic. And most Saj Yogis, including myself, don't budge. We just stay there in thoughtless awareness with our flowers in the hands, waiting for a chance to meet mother. And the guards get desperate, and sometimes I'm not defending the guards in any way, but this is the reality of the situation. It can get dangerous
Yeah.
because occasionally some of those guards are trained like gorillas, what you call them. They are those people who stay in those clubs. What do you call these people? Bouncers. Some of them are like bouncers. They are used to pushing a crowd left and right if need be. Some are big, like big gorillas. Others are ordinary guards. You don't notice hardly what they're not so big, but there's a variety of guards there at the airport. And occasionally things got a little bit rough once or twice. I remember, for instance, there were many incidents like this where the guards shouted at us, asking us to move, and we, such joggers, we just don't react, including myself, by the way. We just ignore them and carry on. Mother's there. What else matters? Nothing matters. And mother's kind of stationary, receiving flower after flower after flower, and they can get very angry. So, on one occasion, one guard, which was exceptionally tall, really like a massive man, and he was so broad in the shoulders and hips, like a monster. The size of his feet with boots was like, I mean, when you see this type of professional wrestlers sometimes, that type of man. He got angry and he started pushing people around. And he was charging, going forward towards Mother, and he was pushing ladies with prams into the air, And the Sajoginis are so centered, they just pick up the prams, put the prams back as they should be, but the prams went flying in the air. And the man, so strong, he started pushing about, he lost patience. And I went after him, trying to tell him, to stop, to tell him who this lady is, Shri Mataji, because she's a very important person, wife of a top diplomat here in the UK, from the United Nations Maritime Organization. So I wanted to tell him who she is, because otherwise it might not give her the correct protocol. So I put my hand on his shoulder to, excuse me, sir, can I have a word? I want to tell you this lady who she is. And he stopped and said, did you touch the microphone, the uniform? Look at the size of my boot, he said. Your head will be under my foot, and I'm going to smash your foot into pieces. That's what he told me. Suddenly, I feel my arms are being pinned down from the back. So what is this? Then I looked. It's two Saj Yoginis. They held me from the back. Each one held my arm, and they said, "Louis, don't be stupid. Stop it. Leave the man in peace. Don't touch him. Don't go near." So they really saved my life, so to say, those two Saj Yoginis, because when the man said, you touch the uniform again and your feet will be under my foot, I'll smash your head to pieces. That's what he told me. When they heard that and they saw the man throwing the ladies in the air with their prams and everything, the man was angry. So they kind of saved my life. So the man carried on moving through the crowd, pushing all the yogis around. And then the Sajoginis let go of me, and I went back following the man, although I didn't touch him this time. I followed him, and I was walking behind him, just 1 meter behind him, because he was open a corridor for me to follow by pushing people around. As he came so close to Mother, this I saw in my eyes. Mother made a face so frightening, like a lion. That's what I would describe Mother's face, because he came very close to Mother. And when Mother made that face, which was absolutely frightening and horrifying, this man, who's, I don't know, like 7 foot tall type of a beast of a man, and very wide and broad, he saw Mother's face like I saw. I was only 1 meter behind him. He bent down, you know how like Japanese people bend down when they bow down very, very low. He bent down, he remained like this, and then he veered away from Mother and ran away like a coward, very, very, very low, made himself like a dwarf, and went away. So Mother controlled him with a single look. But Mother, I don't know what that man saw. To me, Mother looked like a lion in her face. I don't know what he saw, but he bent down and ran away, you see. That was unbelievable. We couldn't stop that type of man, but Mother certainly has powers for that. But still, this was a disturbance which was caused by us. Somehow, all of us, including myself and my wife. My wife also went in the air with the pusher and all that. No reactions. She just put the pusher back in, back upright again, and that's it. No big deal. The Sajoginis are amazing. And the serenity and fearlessness and everything. But that was an incident when I saw, my goodness, this can get nasty, you see. So
When it's happened, this
the
incident?
year, I can't remember the year, to tell you the truth. This is my weak point, is dates. I don't have like you historian type of mindset of dates. Let's say it was 84, maybe 85, something like that. I think that's my best.
Definitely, you are married. You
Oh yes, yes. I
you
have
come
already a
from
child on the
you.
pram. You see, so it has to be 8. This is why I said 85, because our baby was quite small on the pusher. So it was our son was born in 84, so this would have been 85, let's say. It was quite small, that I remember. So hey, where was I? I got lost. Let me see. There were the incidents at the airport. Another time we were also blocking the traffic. And two policemen came with the machine guns and everything, and they decided to take Mother out of there, you see. So one took Mother by one arm, another policeman took Mother by another arm. So this is police people, is not security guards, because they have police uniform and machine guns and everything. And they marched Mother out of the spot. They took her out and they made her go through the corridors, walking at very high speed, all the way to the car park to get rid of Mother, because they understood that Mother is the center of attention. If they could move Mother out of there, then the yogis follow. Of course, the yogis should have understood, we have to get out of here, you see. But there was no one giving that type of instruction to all of us, let's get out of here, we're causing an incident, or something like that. Usually the Saj yogis in England are very peaceful, very relaxed. We tend not to shout or react, or it would not occur to me to do anything. But on that occasion, and especially because of my childhood experiences of seeing so many disturbances with crowds, at school and at the football from young age, I could see this is not going well, because those two policemen were making mother walk so fast, so fast, so fast, that I got afraid, what can happen, because mother has a certain age, and mother was a person of a certain weight, Mother was not like a very thin, thin, thin lady at that age, although mother used to be very thin at young age. But by then, mother was in her 60, 65, let's say, or thereabouts, is about 65. So mother has a certain weight, and to make a lady at that age, to walk that fast, I was worried. So I told one of the policemen, excuse me, sir, this lady is very, very old, and she's a heart patient, If you make her walk so fast, she might have a heart attack. And besides, she's the wife of the one of the top diplomats in this country. We are going to cause a diplomatic incident. There'll be complaints. And if you received your orders from the security guards at the airport, they misinformed you. This is a very peaceful person, who preaches peace. She's not a danger or harm to anyone. And we have moved out of the way. We are out of the airport. Now we are in the corridors going to the car park. What's the need to make her walk so fast? Do you want her to have a heart attack? So he let go of mother's arms. So they continued to march with mother side by side, but not so fast, and at least not manhandling mother, dragging her by the arms, because that was very embarrassing situation. Mother was being dragged by her arms. So that was a very unfortunate incident. Many yogis were there; they would have seen that, So they only, they only departed, those two policemen, the moment mother entered inside the car. So it was quite a humbling experience for us to not have any control over the situation, So that's so another incident, and this is perhaps the most unfortunate one, is I was not there in person, and but there was a thing we had in England, which was the phone tree. Sometimes if there was an important message, someone would ring everybody else on the phones to tell them. So we were at the time I was living in Cardiff, and I received a message. Look, we are going to be at the airport a little bit before time, so we arrive on time and we behave properly. And then we are going to do a little presentation, give a nice present to mother. So it's important Satyagis arrive well on time and behave very peacefully, very discreetly, not causing any disturbance, and everything will go well, So I received this phone call from a yogi. He was quite junior, he was a bit more or less my age at the time, and he was giving me this message. He was just obeying orders, so he was giving me that message. And I told him, I disagree with this idea, because if we bring a big present there with the table and put the present on the table, this itself might cause an obstruction to the traffic flow. You never know, you see, it depends on the location, of course, but that's a dangerous idea. So I don't agree with this. This could be dangerous for mothers. So I was already being, a bit negative, foreseeing a problem. And I asked him, can you pass this order, this my opinion, you see, this warning to the leaders above? I don't know if he was able to pass my message or not, to the leaders above. What I know is that 2 hours later, he rang me, said, look, this is a very quick message. You have been extremely negative, like a prophet of doom, foreseeing an accident to mother, you see. So don't you dare come to the airport. You are not allowed. You are prohibited from attending, So I did not attend. And then, in any case, the day after, I was going to go to the Indian tour. So it was not a big disaster. I'm going to see mother in any case at the Indian tour, possibly a day or two later, This was
So
the day
you've been in Cardiff by that time, and
I was
Shimataji
living in Cardiff.
and
And
Shimataji came in London, or
she was just living in London, and she was about to go to the Indian tour, and so was I, except
sh-
mother was going a day ahead of us. Most of us were scheduled to go to the Indian tour a day or two after this. I can't remember precisely, maybe a day or two after mother's departure
Mhm.
was the day the tour was starting. So, all
But
right, I don't
what
see
what
mother.
airport? What airport
Heathrow, London Heathrow.
in London? Yeah, in London.
London Heathrow. So
Yeah.
I did not attend because I was prohibited from attending, And I
Wow.
felt, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to protest because in 2 days' time I'll be on the Indian tour. Then I can see mother, so it's fine. So, well, my little, warning and foresight became truth. Mother was actually attacked physically on that occasion, which is very unfortunate, And the only reason why I could foresee this is because of my childhood experience, with police. We were living in a police station. The whole population was afraid of the police, afraid of the mounted horses. They charged into the crowd. They came into our schools with Alsatian dogs to frighten us. So I have had enough of that. So I felt, okay, this is a dangerous situation. So it was easy for me to anticipate this type of disturbance because I've been through those many times in my childhood. So did everybody of my generation in Portugal and in Lisbon, especially because there were manifestations against the government, criticizing the government, distributing literature and pamphlets against government. All this was illegal, The police came to check at school if you had that type of literature in our satchels, at school. Or if you had attended the meeting, it was illegal to attend those meetings at school. Anyone who attended could be reported to the police and imprisoned. Our heads would be shaved. It was a big dishonor, because immediately we're marked for having the head shaved. Takes 6 months to go back to normal, and taken to police cells and beaten up by the police, we've been through these situations, so from childhood. So it was easy for me to anticipate to be a prophet of doom, and
But
so it happened.
uh, first of all, I have two questions. If you remember what time it's happened, in what year, and secondly, um, why in Heathrow? I mean, I understand in Lisbon, but in Heathrow, why Shimataji should be attacked?
Yes, okay, I'm going to go into detail for that. It's the
Do you
same
remember? Do you
situation.
remember what year it's happened?
Yes, I was not present. Remember, I was not allowed to go. I think it was
Yes.
96 this time. And what happened, I think, is the usual situation. The yogis were stationary. Suddenly, some flights arrive all at the same time. There's a huge influx of people arriving. Suddenly, the security people perceive the yogis as an obstacle. They are hampering the flow of the traffic, causes a disturbance. They start ordering the yogis to move. I know from experience, whenever they ordered us to move, none of us moved, including myself. So I'm not a saint in that. We just stay there like everybody, don't react, you see. And they get frustrated with our attitude. So it's this type of situation. So one of the security guards was a very old man and very small, very tiny man and very old and with a limp, you see. But this man had fought in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, where there were the troubles. There was very hard fighting there. So he had seen combat in his life as a soldier. He was retired. He had the limp. So being a military man, he knew how to deliver a good punch. So the coward, what he did without anyone expecting, he went behind mother. This is what I was told. I was not there, and he delivered an almighty punch to Mother's midriff and at the back, you see. Out of the blue, as soon as he gave the punch, one such yogi immediately, very tall, strong yogi, put himself between that guard and Mother, so he could not attack again. And two other yogis pinned him down to the floor, and actually they confiscated his walkie-talkie so he could not ask for reinforcements. And it was only when Shri Mataji passed through security, because then she's beyond reach. No yogi can disturb, no guard can disturb Mother's, because Mother was on the verge of going through the exit. That area is only reserved for people with a ticket who are traveling. So after this disturbance, Mother went very swiftly through the exit, so which put her into safety, of course. But it's a fact that as soon as the attack came, which was unexpected from the back, a yogi immediately put himself between Shri Mataji and the guard. Two of the yogis pinned the man down. He was not big. And so this was the situation. So I went on the Indian tour. And on the Indian tour, no one told anyone this incident took place. It was like a taboo. We don't talk about this. It's negative, you see. So I was throughout the whole tour not knowing this incident took place, that my so-called stupid prophecy of a prophet of doom actually happened, no idea. It so happened that I noticed that Mother did not look her usual self. Mother looked a bit tired and unwell. But mother carried on with the tour as if nothing happened. But someone noticed at the tour that mother had a very dark bruise on her back, very blue and black or yellow from that punch, And someone insisted with mother. Mother was almost forced, by yogis, some senior people. Please, let's take an X-ray. And there was damage to one of the vertebrae. So this is a painful thing. So mother, that punch given by a military man was painful, and caused damage to one of the vertebrae. But mother carried on the tour as if nothing happened. You know how mother is, mother is beyond understanding. I mean, I would have taken 3 months off if this happened to me. I would be in bed with painkillers doing nothing. Mother carried on as if nothing happened. But this is very inauspicious, and mother was not pleased with this situation. It's not good for the karma of England that this happened in England. So, I mean, we cannot blame anyone in particular, but this happened. At least you can say with great confidence, a yogi immediately put himself between mother and the man. He was not able to give a second attack. The attack came off the blue without anyone expecting it. The man was very small and old and with a limp. Who could have guessed? See, this man had a military background. He had fought in Ireland. He had seen combat. So when mother came back from India, um, of course, I mean, there was a discussion amongst yogis, those who didn't go to the tour, that what shall we do? Shall we make a big, big, serious complaint to the authorities or not? So there were two factions. Some people said, yes, do a complaint. We have to voice our displeasure with this situation. Others felt we cannot take action without mother's permission because she's the guru. I mean, to do things from mother's back is always a dangerous thing to do. What if mother doesn't agree? So there was those two factions. I was not in any faction because I was at the tour, and this was taking place amongst the people who knew about what happened and didn't go to the tour. So they were sitting on their hands trying to decide: do we make a strong official complaint, or do we wait for mother to return and then we follow mother's instructions? So I think that idea of following mother's instructions prevailed amongst the yogis. So nobody took any action. So when mother returned, mother was entitled to say, so you did nothing, you didn't even complain or say anything. So mother was not pleased that faction of let's not do anything, let's wait for mother's instructions, is the guru. That faction won, and maybe the faction of the people who said, let us make a strong complaint, should have won. So mothers, you have a duty to, you know, do something, if you love me and feel that how important it is, my personal safety and security, you should have done something. So mother was not pleased in general. How could mother be pleased when this happened in England? The thing is that according to mothers, this is something I only learned later because of another incident where mother explained this to me. When these incidents happen, it's not necessarily because of the yogis. It's a sign that the vibrations are not okay in that country. Includes the yogis too. If the country is not well, the yogis are not well. But it's very complex. So it's a situation I don't have personal understanding of these situations, but it's to do with it's symbolic. If something happens that doesn't go quite rightly, sometimes it's a member of the staff may disturb mother, may be rude to mother, then mother is displeased. And the only way we can please mother then is to show our devotion and our love, and somehow that compensates for the incident. And then mother is pleased again. So at the time, I didn't even know that. Mother explained that to me on another incident, which I can't relate to you. There were more incidents, but at least two other incidents I can't relate to you. But that's when I learned those things, that mother considered these things to be symbolic of something not quite right with the country or the yogis, or could be both, could be anyone. Mother is very forgiving, but sometimes you feel there was a need for us to somehow compensate and overcome this difficulty by showing our devotion to mother somehow, however one can do to show that devotion collectively, or whoever happens to be there with mother can do something, and somehow mother then becomes pleased again. But it's very forgiving, naturally. So this was a sad incident. So to continue with this incident, So mother was not pleased at all with all of us, or with the country, with everything, and quite rightly, because things went drastically wrong. But someone, informed mother that I had done that so-called prophecy of doom. So, you know, so the question was, if you foresaw that, I felt I was in a difficult position. If I foresaw that, how come I didn't go there? You know, although I had been ordered not to attend, if I foresaw that danger, maybe I should have disobeyed, the orders and gone. Besides, I don't know if the orders came from high up in the Sahaj hierarchy or from the guy who was dealing with that matter, passing the messages, you see. He certainly didn't like me saying that this is dangerous for mother, you see. He reacted straight away. He was very upset with me, called me a prophet of doom. But when he prohibited me from going, he wouldn't tell me. I just said, but who gave that order? I'm telling you. He just said, I'm telling you, I don't know who gave the order. If it was from the top leaders, I had the duty to obey the order. If it was just one of his orders, perhaps I should have disobeyed the order and gone all the same since I was that prophet of doom. But I didn't go. I told myself, well, I mean, who am I to disobey the leaders? And I didn't go. And yet I kind of foresaw this. So mother find out about my prophecy of doom situation. So I felt, okay, I'm probably overdue a big tell-off, I thought. So let me do something about this, you see. And then I managed to hire some because I mean I don't know why I hired the private detective, you see, to find out if this man had a background of being a member of right-wing organizations who are racist, you see, because to us this felt like a racist attack.
Mhm.
The idea, I think even mother said that if mother had been a French lady, let's say, or an American lady
Yeah.
of high status, he would not have dared attack mother. But he saw a person that looks who is Indian, definitely. Mother looks Indian, you see. So he felt, okay, it's all right to give her an attack, to budge her by force, you see. So to mother, this is an indication of a certain racial attitude. Because I heard mother said that the idea came of, let's find out if he is a member of this racial far wing,
Yeah.
far right organizations, or if he has criminal convictions as well. So a private detective who was an ex-policeman, he still had contacts, was hired to look into his background. As it happened, that man was not a member of any right-wing organization, did not have criminal convictions of any kind, had received a couple of medals for his action, because he got an injury fighting in Ireland. He got a medal, that's why he had the limp, he was very old. So that led nowhere, but it was a way of clarifying who we are dealing with, you see.
Mhm.
And then in the end, I received the message from mother, went to see mother, and I received further instructions from mother and from CP, and got instructions to go, since I am a lawyer or not trained as a lawyer, to go and interview that man, because now I found out a little bit about this guy, the man who attacked mother. Let's find out a bit more, you see. Let's interview him. And CP was very keen to go into action at this point, very strong. And so it was important to interview the guy and see what he says, because surely the guy is stupid and is going to say something detrimental to his own cause.
Mhm.
So it was necessary to interview him. So, I mean, mother asked me then and CCP to go and interview him. CCP told me a few things to say, because he's a top lawyer. So I had a briefing there from mother and CCP regarding what to do. So the meeting was arranged. I went to see the man. I entered the room. I brought my wife along just in case, there's some, I wanted to see that I'm an Englishman too. I'm married to an English person. I'm not a foreigner. So I think that adds to my legitimacy to complain. I'm a British citizen. I have a passport, married to an English lady. And since my wife was coming,
You meet the guy on a personal term, like a private,
no, an official meeting. So I requested with the Heathrow
unofficial meeting.
official meeting, to interview
Okay.
the man with
Where?
this at
Where
Heathrow
you?
Airport with the
Uh-huh.
managers, with the superiors present.
Uh-huh.
And Carol, my wife came along,
Yeah.
and she brought the baby, in the pusher as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show that, look, we are peaceful people, we are family-oriented people, we are a crowd of ladies with prams, and babies, we are not dangerous, aggressive people that they should be afraid of us. So I thought bringing my wife and the baby on the pushchair, the young child, would also show this is the nature of affairs. I mean, the people meeting mother at the airport are peaceful people, family people with children. We don't want any violence or disturbance. It's dangerous for the children in the prams, or in the pushchairs, So I went along to that meeting. I told them my wife would be coming as well. And I didn't say about the child, but they didn't object to that. So we arrived at the meeting. The man who attacked mother is there, looking very peevish, afraid of talking, like a coward. And there's two policemen with machine guns present as well, as if you are really dangerous people. And behind the panel that we are interviewing, which is the manager plus that man who attacked mother, there were three gorillas, three big guys, standing up, extremely big, this type of gorillas, three gorillas and two policemen with a machine gun, And I said, goodness me, I started telling about mother's. Mother fought in India for independence in a peaceful manner, no violence whatsoever. You know how Indians, achieved independence without spilling. They didn't attack or kill anyone. The English soldiers were killing them, and they were not even defending themselves. They did passive resistance. It was a tremendous lesson of non-violence. The whole world was amazed by it. And Shri Mataji was part of this movement from young age, so she's extremely peaceful person, and very courageous. And then, so I explained that, so why do you bring two police people with machine guns, Are you afraid of me and my wife and child, They said, no, no, you are right. We don't need the policeman. So we dismissed the policeman with the machine guns. The three, the three gorillas stayed standing up, A few minutes later, I said, I feel sorry if I fight those men, Why don't you give them a chair at least, After all, they're humans too. They're doing their job. They're standing there to attention like guards as if you are about to attack anyone. So in the end, the manager said, right, we don't need the extra security. I can see you are. And this is the guy admitted, the manager admitted, I know Saj Yoga. You've been around in the airport for so long. I know you are family people and peaceful people, This incident is, he started apologizing for the man, And suddenly the man was on our side a little bit, the manager, And he dismissed the bodyguards as well. Three bodyguards, very big men, Instead of making them sit down, he dismissed them. He felt, there's nothing to be afraid. Besides, he still has a one man there with the head of security, the old man, who is a decorated man who fought in. So in the end, it was my turn to interview the man. I can't remember everything in detail now. It's a long time. But my main question is, why did you do it? Why did you attack this lady from the back? Because you are a gentleman, you are a decorated soldier, you have medals. And to my knowledge, a soldier, a man, does not attack an old lady from the back. This looks a bit cowardly, you see. How do you explain this type of behavior, attacking an old lady from the back? And the person of very high status, of very high diplomatic status, why on earth, you see? And the only defense he had was, I was afraid of the crowd. You were very dangerous and very aggressive towards me. And I said, look, I have plenty of witnesses. We were never dangerous or aggressive towards you. It's only after you gave a big attack against the lady that people pinned you down and confiscated your walkie-talkie so you don't bring safety. But as soon as Shri Mataji went through security, we gave you back the walkie-talkie. We helped the man stand up, Not me, I wasn't there, but the yogis helped him stand up. There was no violence against him, but he was restrained against his will, of course. He had to be in case he attacked mother again, So what is your defense? Why would a gentleman like you and a decorated soldier, a man, attack a lady from the back? She seems so cowardly, without pre-warning, without even telling her first to move. If she had refused to move and you had ordered her to move, maybe I could understand, but without a word, just like that, a big thump, and to cause such physical injury like you caused, we have evidence that mother got damage to one of the vertebrae, So it's a serious injury. It takes a lot of strength to break something like that, So his only defense is, I was afraid of you. You were very intimidating people, very dangerous people. The way you treated me, the way you roughed me up and hurt me on the groin. All lies, hurt me on the groin and attacked me, pinned me down, And the manager knew he's lying, you see. Even the manager could see he was lying, you see. And his only defense was, but I told him, look, as a soldier, I don't know the ethics of being a soldier in this country, but in our country, in Portugal, a soldier can never say I was afraid because that's a sign of cowardliness. A soldier is not allowed by law, at least in Portugal, to say I was afraid. You can, a soldier may be afraid, but cannot say that, cannot act out of fear or even say, oh, I was afraid. No, that's against the ethics of the profession. And he's telling me, the seasoned man, decorated, retired from the army, and now he's telling me I was afraid of this crowd. You are afraid of a crowd of peaceful people with wives and children and all that. And then you are lying because it's only after you attack the lady that people, restrained you. And nobody hurt you, nobody did any harm to your groin. Where's the evidence of that? It's all lies. The manager knew this guy is lying. So in the end, the manager said, all right. He didn't want that man to talk again because this guy, every time he opens his mouth, he just talks nonsense, It was stupid. So the manager told him, okay, you can leave also. And we'll finish the meeting with these people. So the guy walked out very peevishly of the meeting. And then the manager said, all right, we cannot sack him because this has to be decided, by people above him. We cannot just sack him immediately because that would be admitting that you are right and we are wrong. So
Now,
until
just a question for clarity. The manager, who is the manager? Was the manager of the airport of or the manager of the security?
he was an airport manager, terminal manager. He was a man above even
Yeah, the
above
security.
the security. There's
Yeah,
also head of security. That
yeah,
man was a head of security, the one who attacked mother, by the way. But there's still people above that head
yeah,
of security, and then there's a terminal manager who is above
yeah.
all these
No,
people.
it's
So
clear. Yeah, no, yeah.
that was the man who was conducting, present at this interview, and he could not make admissions of fault of his member of staff at that meeting. At least this has to be done with lawyers. This was just an informal interview, so to say. And they said, okay, I'm going to offer you some concessions. I hope this is something that will please, because he said, I'm very, very, very well. I have very strong and good opinion about such yogis, the way they behaved all these years at the airport. And I know that you are a peaceful organization, and so is Shri Mataji, that she preaches love and peace and all that. So the man had done his homework to a certain degree. And I had also told him about Mother in the movement of freedom, in India and all that. That Mother was 100% against violence. So she had been part of that movement. Takes a lot of courage. So he said, "All right, we're going to give you an immediate concession as of now. Whenever Shri Mataji comes to the airport, that man will not be on duty for sure, so long as you inform us when Mother is coming. And also in future, we give you a special area, where you can meet her and greet her, which is out of the way of all these busy areas. So we'll allocate an area, maybe outside the terminal, but, there'll be a safe route for Mother to come, not disturbed, no security guards will go near her, and then you can meet as many devotees as she wants, in a peaceful way, not within the busy areas, and there will be no further incidents in future. Everything is very safe. So, okay, something good came out of that meeting, but I had been well briefed by Mother and CCP towards, what to say in this meeting. So it's not because I'm brilliant or such a great negotiator. I mean, the credit goes to Mother and CCP who briefed me well on this point. And we had already that detective report, knowing a little bit about him. So for a soldier, now that we knew that he had served in Ireland, that was the result of the detective report, and he was a decorated man. He could not continue to say he was afraid. He was afraid, and to lie. He had acted with great dishonor. So we had some trump cards in our hands. I mean, I was well briefed about what to say about Mother, in the background in India for the fight of independence. So the meeting went well, and we came out with a few concessions, and these were important concessions for us. And then, I don't know, I think I felt a bit more courage, and still afraid of crowds as I was from childhood. I said, now the next meeting, that mother gives in public, a public meeting, we are going to hire police ourselves. We are going to pay for police protection for mother. This can be done. I mean, there's a fee, it's expensive, but let's do that. So I made that suggestion via another Saj Yogi, more senior than I, much more senior than I. That Saj Yogi was going to mother very often. And one day he passed my suggestion to mother, that Louis is suggesting that in next meeting, public meeting of mother, we will pay for police protection. And when he made that suggestion, he said Louis made that suggestion. Mother went very serious and didn't reply. So when I asked him, so what did mother say to my suggestion? Nothing, absolutely nothing, just silence, you know. And that was the end of our meeting. I said, oh my God, don't tell me I'm gonna get, maybe I'm not being diplomatic somehow, or I don't know my place. Where am I to make suggestions? After all, Sasipi is the person who is responsible for defending mother, really, not I, because that's the husband, and who am I to make suggestions, you see? So mother gave no answer, you see. Maybe the answer should have come from someone else, not from me. I'm not a senior Saj Yogi in England. Who am I to make suggestions? I mean, I didn't know how to interpret mother's silence. But in fact, a public meeting with mother was coming very soon. We knew that at that time. So that's why I made that suggestion. But something happened suddenly in London, which I didn't know. You see, in London, there's lots of people from Sikh religion and also some people, Indians, who are from Hindu religion. And for some reason in London, a Sikh guru was killed, was murdered. God knows who killed him. It could have been another Sikh person, that had rivalries, with them from a different Sikh sect. But there was a certain speculation it could have been from a Hindu sect who killed him, that Sikh guru. So, and in India there had been lots of fights between Sikhs and Hindus. So, if they perceived mother as being a Hindu because of the mark on the forehead that mother wears, so this could have been a bit, mother could receive some retaliation. If the Sikhs came to retaliate against any Hindu guru, mothers could be perceived as a Hindu guru. I mean, mother does not define herself as just a Hindu guru, but she could be seen as a Hindu guru by people who see the mark on her head. So there was that little danger now. Suddenly, going to a public meeting, mother was in an even worse situation than usually now. And Sasipi, who knew what's going on in London, he told Shri Mataji that, unfortunately, I cannot, for security reasons, allow you to attend the meeting right now while this situation is going on. There is these rumors of retaliation against the Hindu guru is coming. Rumors, of course, nothing concrete. And at this point, Sri Mataji, I'm told Sasipi, but look, the yogis are being extremely responsible. You can be proud of them now. They're being very responsible. They even suggested to pay for, they want to pay for police protection for me. The suggestion has been made. What do you think? Sasipi said, yes, on condition you do that, they do that police protection, then you can attend, because this shows the yogis are being highly responsible. They have never suggested that. So that suggestion I did is again out of fear of crowds, which I had learned from childhood. I almost died during those stampedes in childhood. So I had my own reasons for fear of these things. So that is why I'm the one who made the suggestion. People who never been in these stampedes would not feel that instinctive fear that I had. This is fear not just for myself, but also fear for others, like my wife with the children or mother, anyone. So I made it's an expensive suggestion I made. But the yogis went one point further. The yogis not only paid for the police, but they also organized their own security, yogi security. Now those amongst us that are strong and young, became kind of the security at these public meetings in London forever. That never stopped that since then. So the yogis became very responsible. I was never part of the security body of people, by the way, to defend mother when, I hardly volunteered. I mean, I helped a little bit, but I was not one of the front men in those who were security for mother at public meetings in UK. But I helped a little bit here and there. So I was not, because, look at me, I'm not that big and strong, like a wrestler. So it was those yogis who were a bit taller and more beefy that were taking the lead. There was also a Saj Yogini married to a bouncer, a professional bouncer, who was to a certain degree a Saj Yogi. So he was organizing the yogis because he had professional experience. So we became very organized in England at last to do these things. I mean, we had been part of security in India because in India also there's fear of the crowds becoming too anxious to go and touch mother's feet without permission, and there's danger of stampedes there. So even the English yogis and all yogis had been helping with the security for mother, but only in India. And you thought England is very safe. It's not like India. India, the crowds go berserk, but in England these things don't happen. But it happened, out of the blue, a few incidents have happened. So then this was organized. And I did something also very strange. This was another stupid idea of mine. I had a Saj Yogi friend who is from Sikh religion. He still had a turban sometimes. And I asked him to sit on the stage. So during Mother's talk, if you see that talk on the video, Mother's giving a talk and there's a man sitting on the stage. I don't think he wore the turban on that occasion. So that way he could be part of both movements. He's a Saj Yogi, so no turban, but he's from the Sikh community. He knows the people in the Sikh temples. He speaks Punjabi, of course, because that's his language. And so we had him there sitting on the stage, and Mother's giving a talk, and there's an old man sitting there on the stage. What on earth is he sitting there? Why doesn't he go and sit in a chair? What? That we asked him to be there because if six people from the Sikh temple saw him, they know him because he's a regular there at those
Mhm.
temples and he speaks Punjabi. He could immediately, because if they were doing some disturbance, they would talk amongst themselves in Punjabi, isn't it? Anyway, this is just rumors. I mean, we don't know if there was any interest in the Sikhs to come and attack Mother at all. It was just a kind of a fear that, if there's retaliation or something. So that man is there on the stage also. Maybe it was a stupid idea of mine. When I see that video, I feel ashamed. Oh my God, that looks odd to have that guy sitting there on the stage, you know. But an old man, but this new Punjabi language, that was the idea. So this is the some incidents I've never recorded. The mother asked me to record all my Sahaj experiences. I think these are interesting to see because I mean these were things that never occurred to us could happen. I'll tell you another. If you want a few more incidents of this nature, I think one day we're going to.
Yes, of course I want it. And we continue, but to save you a little bit of to give you a little break. I just want to make few comments here, which I can save it for the end. But like I said, probably a break will be good for you. just,
Thank
just
you, thank you.
um, listen to you. Come to me a lot of idea, including the
You have
security.
you stopped recording, didn't you?
No,
Oh no, we're still recording. Okay, because you
no,
said a
no.
break,
We
having a
we
break.
still we still recorded,
Very
uh,
good.
and. Listening to you, I make some notes, and again, I believe will be a good break for you to tell you my thoughts now, and after that we continue. No problem. Um, this issue with the security come in Romania as well, on a very, very light level, not even close to what's happened in England or in India. And I was part of that security, and I was witnessing an incident in. Although I'm not very tall, but I'm fair. Well, okay-ish. Um, we have an incident in Romania in the very first visit of Shri Mataji, and the very first program. Everybody can see it on the Amruta, the very first program in Romania in 1990 in October. So we have this kind of security. We know what it is, but again, not even closer to what's happened there. But um, um, when you told me everything you told me, um, without being negative. So maybe people will also label me as they label you as the negative one. But we have to talk about this kind of stuff because we don't like us like Sahaja yogis to be perceived as not perfect people. We have a very good impression about us. We are perfect. It's good to say that, but also it's good to be realistic. It's good to know yourself exactly at you are, as you are. And the fact that you were perceived as a prophet of doom, you were not allowed to go to the airport. No one listened to you. Probably you are new. I mean, not
But
probably. You are
but
new.
Daniel, I should have gone the moment I
I know, I
as
know.
a prophet of doom. I ought to have gone, but I
Yes.
obeyed orders,
But that's exactly
because
what I'm talking about, orders. We don't need orders. We don't need queens and kings in Sahaja Yoga. Obviously, when Shimataji was with us, you need some chain of command, let's call it, because no one is not possible everybody go to Shimataji.
I know, but
But
then you see, my dilemma is like this. I remember talking to mother once, and we were, moving some stuff from mother and SCP, because the rooms are always being decorated, and then you have to move papers and things in boxes, and I came across a karate certificates of black belt karate awarded to Sir CP. So I saw that, mother, Sir CP, does he practice martial arts? And mother said, no, no, he does not practice martial arts. But for all his many achievements in Japan, they awarded him these black belts. It's their honorary titles. But no, he
honorary,
does not.
yeah.
He does not practice martial arts. But since we were on the subject, I asked mother, does he have a gun at least? And mother said, a gun? What's wrong with you? Why would he have a gun? He's not a coward, you see. He's not afraid of anything. CCP doesn't have any fear whatsoever. And he's not a coward. So why would he have a gun? And then mother added more. And besides that, one of the reasons why I married him is because he's capable of protecting me. He has that power, you see. Because then mother said, see, what's the name? The Ravana had been reincarnated at the same time as Mother, and he was that leader. He was a false guru, in this lifetime. Ravana became Rajneesh or something, and that was the name he had as in this new life as Rajneesh. And Mother said, "See, he never even dare come near me in this lifetime because he knows SCP has a enormous power and clout to defend. There's no chance for him. Actually, SCP, as a young man, he was always the an athletic champion. Nobody could run better than him at school. He was a tremendous athlete. So. And as mother said, he's not a coward. He has no fear whatsoever. Well, I wish that could be said about me. As you can see, I had fear of ghosts, I had fear of crowds, I had all sorts of fears. But SCP on the other hand, there's no fear whatsoever. It does not need a gun, you know. And the
Yeah,
mother said he
Luis,
would not hurt. Anyway,
yes, is
this was just to finish that.
is not about fear
So
of.
so this situation is embarrassing to me because I
No,
do
no,
care for
no.
mothers. I do care for my own personal safety, and I care for mother's own personal safety. But CCP is in charge. There's no
Yeah,
doubt
yeah,
about it. And mother gave him tremendous credentials. One reason mother married him is because he has the sufficient clout and
yeah.
power to defend her. That is why Rajneesh never dared come near mother because you know he
It's
had
not
all the
about
powers.
our. It's not about being afraid about exterior stuff. It's about being afraid about the fellow Sahaja yogis who order. And again, I start from this particular your experience, but I extrapolate it uh, to the general situation when uh, people look in the we don't have balance between accepting what the leader said and doing what is right. So
Yeah, but Daniel, the
on
situation was so complicated during those times after Mother's attack is that, CCP suddenly he wanted to use all his powers, diplomatic powers, and hire lawyers and make a big fuss about this incident and go really heavy, to court. And you see, when I went to interview this man, this was the beginning and preparation for court action. You see, so now we have heard this side of the story. Now we're going to courts. CCP was prepared to go to courts, bring
okay. By the
lawyers,
way, by the way,
make lots of
yeah. How
official complaints, use all his diplomatic power. And Mother didn't want him to do a thing. At this point, Mother
exactly?
didn't want anything. You
That's
see,
my
the
next
moment
question.
you
That's
see,
my
the
next
moment
question.
Mother saw
How it's hap
moment Mother saw our readiness to do what is needed, Mother was satisfied. You see, even Mother was having difficulty stopping CCP from going heavy with the law and
That's
diplomatic
exactly my
influence and
question.
government.
That's exactly my question. What was the outcome, the final outcome? In the end, Shimataji accept the so-called concession from the airport, and that was the end of the
No,
issue.
I think CCP still did some official complaints to the, but a bit more. Mother was restraining him,
Mhm.
not to go too strong and
Yeah.
create, a massive outrage, because by now we all the Sajogis had felt this outrage against this situation. You were becoming more conscious of the need of having security for mother at public events, and I think we became more conscious of these fears, these dangers, So we improved a lot as a collective. SRCP had to be restrained, otherwise it would have gone too hard, with court cases and lots of, diplomatic complaints and all that. Because mother is, after all, mother has an Indian passport, and SRCP is a very high placed diplomat, so he had the power to cause a lot of, outrage about this thing. But it was not allowed to mother to go too heavy, But the important thing is we, as Saj yogis, learned from this experience. And in future, Mother, by the way, Mother never wanted police protection ever again. That was only that one that one occasion. Never again. Mother did not allow it again. You see, so Mother did not
Just
allow police protection ever again.
just
Just
once.
just on that occasion, because the CP
Yeah.
made it a condition. She could only attend the meeting if there was that as well. And it had been
Something else.
suggested.
Yeah. Something else come to my mind when you told me that was two factions who talk about what to do. Um, Show me how divided we are, and we should be on the same page all the time, all of us, which we are not. And I'm afraid in that situation, when you told me the story, I was with the wrong side, uh, because also I I have not the courage, but not enough confidence that what I'm doing is the right stuff. So probably I will also wait for Shri Mataji to come to do something when you told me that you were two fractions there. So that show me how
It is
much
difficult to
I
know
have
what to do. Yeah. Yes.
to improve, because in the end, Shimataji told you guys that you should do something regardless. You should, and I believe I'm the one who take my fate in my hands and I do what I believe is right. But looks like in this situation, I didn't pass the exam, because again,
Well,
probably
I'll
I'm
tell you
not
another.
confident enough in my action, and I was thinking that it's better to ask Shimataji, to wait for Shimataji to come back and see what we can do.
Yes, I mean that is a very logical decision. Also, I mean, Mother is the guru. We cannot do things in her
Yes.
back without the permission. What to do? Yeah. I mean, I think nobody was right in this situation. Perhaps Mother wanted us to feel that outrage and feel that something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yes, SCP did do some complaints,
Yeah.
but mother was restraining him not to go too hard and to start a court case because mother was assaulted after all. So, this is a criminal offense. So this could have gone to courts, but mother did not allow that. Mother did not want to go to courts, for instance. So SCP was being restrained also to a great degree. And the moment mother is in the UK, mother is totally in charge. I mean, mother is directing this process. I mean,
Yeah.
make no mistake, the moment mother is back, she's the guru, and she was definitely in charge. But we
Absolutely.
need to understand from inside that mother's security is paramount. We need to at all times defend her. Okay, mother is now here with us in physical form. All we can do now is to defend her good name because mother mentioned that.
Very
The
important.
only the only attack that can be done against mother is the attack against a good name and reputation. And
Yes.
usually it is the yogis who destroy mother's good name. Mother said that. You need to be careful because we can at any moment act in a way that is detrimental to her good name and reputation. So we are the greatest danger to mother. This is something we have to be careful. Now, because mother is now here in physical form, you can only attack her good name and reputation, really. So we need to be careful what you say and how we
Okay,
talk about
we can
things.
go further with your
Okay, so the other episodes, which
the
they
other
taught me a
episode.
lot, because the other episodes, mother explained something to me I didn't understand. So another time, mother came, I can't tell you the date now, and I had to go to mother's house for some reason. I can't remember why. And mother was staying at a flat in Buckingham Palace Road, because sometimes SCP had to rent a flat there for diplomatic purposes to receive delegations. And mother would also go there, of course, and decorate the whole place and receive the diplomats. Mother did all those duties also as a diplomat's wife. And we arrived there, and mother didn't look well at all, you see. We had never seen mother look so unwell. Oh yes, can I go back to the attack at the airport? Okay,
Yes.
in that
Yes.
attack, so I was on the tour immediately after it happened. I had no idea mother had been attacked, and we were there at the tour, and mother had to stand up for a long, long time, because she was buying saris for the whole tour, and there was no chair, and she was standing in the sun. And no parasol, nothing. Mother was sweating, 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 perspiring, let's say, perspiring. And she looked very tired and unwell. That I noticed. Everybody noticed. Mother didn't look her usual self. Of course, mother had been attacked, but we didn't know. On the tour, nobody knew mother had been attacked. This was kept a secret. I didn't know also mother had been attacked. I did my stupid prophecy of doom, but had no idea it really happened. But I noticed mother was not well. So I said, we should get mother a chair at least. And mother's where she was staying was, a fair distance. You would have to walk there, and if you were to walk there to get a chair for mother, the danger is by the time you arrive, mother would have gone, finished the whole operation. Maybe it takes time. And I remember thinking, I'm probably not strong enough to carry a heavy chair all the way at a big distance at fast speed because this had to be done fast.
Yeah.
So I need to get another person to help me to carry a chair for mother. I think we must bring a chair for mother. And it took me a long, long time to convince another person to come with me to get a chair for mother. Everybody said, "Don't be stupid. By the time you come and go is a fair distance, mother will be gone. And the chairs are so heavy, you cannot run with it. So I failed. I did not manage to convince anyone. And then I had this brilliant idea. Well, I'll do it myself alone. I don't care. I mean, I can carry the chair, even if it's heavy. So I ran all the way to the place where mother was staying because there they have chairs, parasol, water, everything. And I asked, can I borrow a chair for mother? And they said, yes, of course. And they gave me a plastic chair, one of those garden plastic chairs. That's extremely light. Why do I need two people to carry a plastic
Yeah.
chair? So I was able to run all the way back. I ran on the way there and then I ran the way back. I was young in those days with a plastic chair. I mean, this is nothing. What's the weight of a plastic chair? So I arrived with the chair. And I put the chair and I looked at mother, put the chair, and mother looks at me in disgust. Without saying a word. She said, "Ah, at last, meaning what took you so long?" And I felt ashamed of myself. The time I wasted, trying to convince another man to help me, and I was not persuasive enough to convince another man to come and help me. So in the end, I said, look, I'm going to take the weight myself alone, and that's it. Why did it take me so long? And as it happens, there was no weight whatsoever. It was a plastic chair they gave me. So I felt so stupid, you know. And mother's attitude was like this. I mean, why did it take you so long? You know, what's wrong with you? But at last, so when mother gave me that look, you know, disapproval, you know, to a certain degree, I said, all right, now I'm going back there. I'll run and I'll get a parasol and I'll get, since I'm already warmed up for running, I'll run back there and back. And this time I'll bring mother some water and the glass and the parasol. So I came back with the water and the parasol. This time mother was pleased. Now this time mother received me well. See, now I'm getting the point at last, you know, a slow learner, a bit stupid. So the parasol was open, mother, and I started pouring the water, you know. So I brought a big jug of water and a glass. So I poured the water and I stood the water there, and mother took the water from my hand, the glass, and drank it, you know. Because mother drank the glass, I poured another glass, you know, in case she wants a bit more. I filled up that glass, and mother takes the glass from me again and drinks the whole glass. Okay, I'm surprised mother drank two full glasses, you know, like this in a second, you know. Well, the jug is big and I have so much water, the glass is totally empty. I filled up the glass again. To my amazement, thinking mother might take a sip maybe in 10 minutes or something. No, as soon as I filled up the glass, mother took the glass from me and drank the whole lot.
Wow.
I said, wow, that is amazing. I think mother is going to gulp down the whole jug, you know. So it happened, you know. Every time I filled up the glass, mother took the glass from me and drank it down. Mother gulped down the whole jug of water, you know, in a matter of 10 minutes or so. I just couldn't believe my eyes. How can she do this, you know? But, and then having drunk the whole water, mother finished. She had finished that, buying the saris there in the middle of it was in the campsite, you know. The trucks came with the saris. There was nowhere to sit initially. No parasol, no water, nothing. Mother stood a long time there choosing saris for the yogis. And so that was a long session, but I can't believe mother drank a whole jug of water. You know, I thought this is impossible, you know, but she did, you know. Anyway, that was another lesson, you know, where I liked initiative, liked the power of suggestion. So then, I mean, I had this bold idea again. I went to the leaders, you know. I said, look, we should be carrying a chair for mother at all times on the buses, you know, in case mother needs a proper chair, because I had seen that in public programs in villages, mother was not sitting on a chair, she was sitting on a bed, which is very uncomfortable. There's nowhere you can lean.
Yeah.
And there are some pillows there, but they are mostly for decoration. You cannot use those pillows, they are loose. And mother is actually balancing herself on a bed, quite uncomfortable, you know. So I said, why don't you bring a proper throne for mother at all times on the bus for emergencies? And in fact, the leaders looked at me as if I'm from another planet. This guy is stupid or what? He doesn't know his place, now he's making ideas and suggestions, you know. Somehow or another, this was approved. Suddenly, a big chair appears on the bus, you know, and mother used that chair, you know, at other occasions. So the chair was there at all times. A proper chair, comfortable one, not a plastic chair or sitting on a bed, you know. And in fact, mother needed it because her back had been hurt. So, and I had seen mother sitting on a bed, very uncomfortable. And well, I didn't know mother was hurt. So, one more reason. But discretion would have told me that I should have gone for that chair much faster, you know. It took me ages. I
Yeah.
tried so hard to convince another person instead of just let me run and get the chair, you know. Doesn't matter if it's heavy, I can manage, you know. But no, you know, I was thinking of myself, you know, what if the chair is very heavy? How will I carry the chair? Will it take so long? Then I miss seeing mother, you know, stupid thinking. Anyway, one learns by experience, bit by bit, you know, we make mistakes all the time.
So
Okay, no, I
we
promised
can go
other incidents,
to
other
another.
incidents,
Yes.
other incidents. They also taught me something. So I was going to, can't remember why I was going to mother's house, you know. Oh yes, I think we're picking up some furniture from that house to bring to elsewhere, to possibly to Shitty camps or something, you know. And again, mother was not looking well at all, you know. And we said, mother, you don't look yourself. Is everything well? Are you feeling well? You know, oh yes, you know, it's a big problem. Every time I try to sleep, the neighbor next door starts doing work with the kango, you know. And I tried sleeping at all different times, but at any time I choose, the moment I go to rest, the man starts the kango. If I don't rest, it does not use the kango, but if I go to rest, it uses the kango. So I said, and mother had a huge headache, you know. She said that's why she was not well. She had a huge headache because of that noise every time she tried to rest, you know. And this happened since she had arrived in the country. Mother had just been in the country 2 or 3 days. So this was going on for 2 or 3 days. And I said, but how can this be, mother? You know, you have a headache, you know. How can this be? Because I used to have a massive headache, mother, and you cured me of my headache completely, you know. I had suffered from a headache for 6 years in a row, and mother took my headache. I rubbed mother's feet. That also helped the headache to go, you know. But since then, I had never had a headache again in my life. And here's mother with a headache. To me, it does not make sense. So I said, Mother, can you explain? You know, mother said, Yes, I can explain. First of all, you know, you have been practicing Sahaj, so you got rid of your headache because you are practicing Sahaj. As for me, I have no, mother said, I have no desire whatsoever to cure myself. I only care for curing others, you know. I have no desire whatsoever. And I said, what about this man? How can he guess when you are going to take a rest? Is it entities or satanic entities? You know, how can an ordinary man guess when you're about to rest and do that? Yes, you know, this is something else. And I said, can we stop this guy? You know, and mother said again, I have no desire for those things. I only desire for others, not for myself. I'm totally desireless. So I just go on with it. You know, mother, can I go and have a talk with him? Maybe you can agree a timetable, you know, a negotiated timetable. So you can do noise at certain times, but not at a particular time, you know, that time, because so you can have a rest, you know. Mother said, good idea. So I was about to go and she said, stop, stop. There's no need. It's done. This man will never, ever do this again. Really? Why? Because you desired that he should stop. Now you people can desire on my behalf, but mother said, I don't usually desire these things for myself, only for others. But since you desired, you will never do it again. I said, wow, that's amazing. But the other yogi, he was a few steps ahead of me. He said, Mother, can you do a massage to your head? He was married to an Indian Saj yogi, so Indian Saj yogini, sorry.
Mm.
So he knew how to do a kind of a head massage. He felt confident to offer mother a head massage. I would never dream of a thing like this, you know. But he did. Mother, can we, you know, rub some oil on your head? I know how to do an Indian head massage. My wife is Indian, this and that. You know, he was English, but his wife was Indian. I said, are you sure you know what we are doing? Yes, 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 we can do it. So, okay, get some oil and towels, you know. So I was pouring the oil and he was rubbing mother's head, you know. I was pouring the oil and using towels, making sure you don't pour the oil all over mother's sari, you know, do a big mess, you know. We didn't know what we were doing really. But he had a certain notion on how to do a proper head massage. You must have seen his wife doing it, you know. In India, people know how to do these things. So that head massage took place, you know. And then mother said, yes, now everything is well, you see. But then that's when mother explained something that was totally new to me. She said, when I arrived this time, something went wrong, you know, again on arrival, not auspicious, you know. And because it was inauspicious, something happened. Mother didn't tell us what, you know. Things were going wrong, you see. So it was so, things were not auspicious, not going well. And, you know, but now, since you offered the massage to me, you know, and you offered to, you know, talk to the man, everything is well. Now I'm pleased again. So just because two little symbolic acts of two yogis, you know, he suggested the massage, he was smart, really. I suggested negotiating a timetable with the man. She said, you both desired something good for me, you care for me. So this is symbolic of all the yogis. You are representing all the other yogis when you did that. And so now I'm pleased. And whatever the yogis feel, that, you know, compensates, you know. So Mata accepted that little, you know, little expression of our concern or little love, you know. Mother has been so loving to us, you know, it's only natural to feel it. So that's when a mother taught me something I never understood. So things can go wrong, you know, on arrival, and this is symbolic. If mother is not pleased, then everything goes wrong. So then that attack you know, compounded on mother by a neighbor, attacking mother with the kango. How can that man know when mother is resting? He can't, but it's the entities, something strange, And mother, with all the powers, she can't be bothered to cure herself of a headache, like she cured my headache, but won't cure her own headache, will not stop that man, and she has all the powers. And suddenly she says, now it's done. He will never ever do it. Guaranteed, it's done. I said, wow, we don't understand anything that's going on with mother. So, I mean, shall we go to another incident? Because there's another incident. Mother explained something to me also. I had no idea. So, another time, I think at time I was staying at Shudi camps, and we came to collect mother from the airport, just the two of us. I was the co-driver, and there was a driver. And so we went there to collect mother and the luggage and all that, Mother was coming. There was another yogi traveling with mother, but didn't come to Shudi camps. He stayed in London because he lives in London. But mother then traveled Shudi camps with us. And mother was not well at all. That was pretty obvious, Mother didn't look well. So he said, Mother, are you all right? You need something? Is there anything you can do? In case mother needs a drink or something, we can always get a drink at the the stations, the service stations on the motorway, Coca-Cola or something if mother is not well, or a drink, So is there anything we can do, No, no, I mean, something went wrong at the airport. Really? We didn't know because everything was normal. Well, something had happened which was behind the scenes, which we could not have seen, the ones who went there to collect mother and her luggage. What happened was that day, mother had agreed to come from the VIP exit, which was more convenient and faster for mother to use. And there was a new member of staff at the airport. He happened to be Indian, in fact, and from Sikh religion, He even had a turban and all that. So he was Indian, but from Sikh religion. That doesn't matter the religion, but if you're looking at mother, he felt mother is not VIP. That was his prejudice. No, she does not look like VIP. That's it. That was his judgment of the situation. She's not VIP. She cannot use the VIP access, which means mother would have arrived at a different exit, and there was no one there to collect her or to receive her or to take her home and deal with the luggage. Nothing, a disaster, you see. This was not a situation where lots of yogis had come. In fact, only two people came to collect mother. Mother asked to have a private, informal, private arrival with no yogis. There was a yogi traveling with mother, no? But he had gone home, and so we took care of mother's luggage and took her home. So mother said there was an incident. Oh, what is the incident? So that man objected to mother coming through VIP exit, because he was incompetent. He didn't know he was new at this job. So mother said you can use the Who's Who book. There's a book here called Who's Who, which lists all the VIPs in this country. And mother said you can check the Who's Who book. Is my passport, and then you will see that I'm on the list. Look up the name Srivastava, and my husband is Chandrika Prasad. And then you'll see that under his name there is the name of the wife, Mrs. Nirmala Srivastava, in the passport. So mother explained everything to him. And the guy replied, "We don't have a Who's Who book even." And mother said, "Oh, look, there it is on the shelf. Can you see it? Okay, get the book." He didn't even know there's a Who's Who book there on the shelves. It was new. So mother brings the book. He says, he looks at the book. He could not find the name Srivastava on the book. Can you imagine? The name Srivastava is not here, he said to mother. Mother said, of course there is. In fact, there's several Srivastavas on that book. Not one, but several. Because, there are several Srivastavas who have VIP status. That's life, So there was more than one Srivastava. The guy is saying there's no Srivastava. So mother went through the book and found the Srivastava entry, found the one which is Mr. Chandrika Prasad, which is her husband, with her name underneath, and she showed the man, this is it, that's my name, see, and my passport. And the man said, no, I cannot see. I cannot see the name Srivastava with her name, nothing, I cannot see, So he was refusing mother's VIP access, or exit in this case. And the mother was flabbergasted with this, suddenly an Englishman comes who also works there in the airport, and he knew mother by face because mother is a frequent traveler. Oh yes, she's a VIP. Definitely let the lady go. Let the lady go. So this man gave access to mother, But then mother was a bit irritated with this. So I remember asking mother, and again, mother said, "This is not auspicious that a nasty incident happened on my arrival. You see." So we felt maybe it's our fault also. We yogis who came or there to receive, or God knows, or negativity in the country. It could be anything. So this is not caused by a yogi, but it happened. And mother was disturbed. The legs had gone very, very swollen as well. Her feet and the ankles. She was moving with difficulty. So it was a negativity attack, and she said this is very inauspicious. So that's why she was not feeling well. So because of that incident that happened when we massaged mother's head, and she was pleased. The yogi did the massage. I didn't do the massage, but I was pouring the oil and helping with the towels. And remembering that incident that mother told us, I felt, okay, maybe we can do a massage now. But mother's driving, you see, by driving the car. And I said, mother, would you allow us to massage your feet, because mother's legs were very swollen and ankles, with this incident. And mother said, no, no need. I don't need it, at all. I don't need it. That's fine. Okay, but at least I offered, you see. And who am I to massage mother's feet? I'm not an expert, but I have massaged, I've rubbed mother's feet before for my own benefit, not for mother's benefit. But as she said, she does not need, she's okay. But a few minutes later, mother put a foot in between the seats. I'm in the front seat with the driver, co-driver. I'm co-driver, you see, and the driver is driving. And sitting on the back seat, mother put the feet in between the two seats at the front, so I could reach her feet easily. She said, if you want, since you offered, you can massage my foot. So this went on for a long time. It's a long trip from airport to mother's house in Shitty Camps. It's at least an hour and a half, if not more. Depends how fast you drive or queues. So there's a long time. So I must have been massaging that one foot for half an hour. I took my seat belt on to twist myself into a more comfortable position for myself to do the massage. I must have been massaging mother's foot for half an hour. It was an amazing experience for me. The silence, the bliss, the vibrations. I mean, what an amazing thing. I mean, I don't know if mother felt better. I felt better, that's for sure. So, and then maybe after half an hour, mother removed the foot. So I said, okay, that's it. But then a few minutes later, mother changed position on the back seat and she gave the other foot as well. So I was able to massage the other foot for about maybe another half hour or so. It was a long time. It's a physically tiring process to rub the feet while the car is driving for a while. I think by the time I did the second half hour, I had had enough. You see, I was already feeling blissed out and cooled down. I was reaching my limit, in fact, of my physical endurance to do the rubbing. And mother likes it to be done quite strong and to pull the toes. She told me, pull that toe a bit longer, that one. And she asked me to pull some toes quite stronger. I was pulling harder, harder, mother was saying, harder. Goodness, am I going to break a toe or what? No, harder, mother was saying. Mother's Mother's feet are tough. You can pull those toes hard and they don't break. I was almost afraid. But mother said, harder, 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 right? So I realized I'm not even strong enough to do a proper foot massage. It requires, at least with the car in motion and twisted as I was, I think that was my limit, the two half hours with a little break in between. But okay, so that was thanks to mother's lessons. We didn't know any of those things. I think there was one other incident also where things went wrong, and that again was very embarrassing for me. I think this was a unique occasion. We had hired a flight, a chartered flight to go to Italy to Puja, and mother came on the same flight as the yogis. So I think I can't remember. I think we boarded where we boarded us. It was not Heathrow. It was another airport where the chartered flight was had been hired. Stansted, if my memory is right, or something, a place like that, not Heathrow. And we were going there in the corridors with mother to go to the flight. Mother was coming, and suddenly an Indian man spots this crowd, and you could see that we are devotees of mother. So he starts shouting at mother in Hindi, like moaning and complaining. And I didn't have a clue what he was saying to mother, but it was very rude and impolite. Another Sajogini who knows Hindi, Indian one, then told me later on, she told me, this man was complaining that, why do you help those people? They are just English people. Why are you talking to them and not for me? I'm Indian, you see. You should be giving your teachings to Indians, not to English. This type of rude, stupid. Who is this guy to challenge mother as a guru that she has so many English disciples and a few Indians too? They're in the mix, a few, because there were always some Indian Saj yogis in the collective. They were there as well. And the guy's just shouting and abusing. I haven't got the clue what he's saying. So I put myself between him and mother, trying to appease this man. This is a very big man. He's Indian, but very, very big also. And he's taking no attention of me. First of all, I can't talk to him. I don't know if he understands English. He might have understood a little bit of English. I certainly don't understand a word of Hindi. If he was talking Hindi, I assume he was talking Hindi. It could have been another Indian language. And I'm trying to tell him, speaking to him in English, leave the lady in peace, she's a guru, this, that, she cannot be disturbed now, she's about to board a flight, this, that. He's giving me no responses. In fact, I felt that, is he going to give me a slap or what? He seems to he was getting angry, as if, who am I to interrupt him, disturb him, stop him from talk to mother? I just wanted to distract his attention. Now he can talk to me instead of disturbing mother. Because his tone sounded a bit rude towards mother. So this was another, negative incident. And then mother said, Louis, leave it to me, I'll handle him. Just leave him to me. Things were getting out of hand with this guy. So mother then spoke to him in, I suppose it was Hindi, could have been. Mother speaks so many Indian languages, I don't know what language. And she pacified him a little bit. But then mother started perspiring, you see. This was a negative incident, very strongly. And so the corridor finished, and we arrived at an area where mother could sit down, and mother was really upset by this incident. And because she was perspiring, there was one of those books, Shri Mataji's daughter, Sadhana Didi. She had written a book about Himalayas with her husband, Romel. It was a very beautiful book, and mother advised all the Saj Yogis to read it. So there were a few spare copies. And we were taking a few boxes of those books to Italy as well. So I took one of those books from one of the boxes that we were carrying to improvise a fan to cool mother down. And mother laughed because this is the book of the Himalayas, and I was using the Himalayas to cool mother down. And I said, how appropriate. Mother was very serious, but when I used the improvised fun with the book of the Himalayas from a daughter and daughter-in-law, son-in-law, they had both written the book. She said that mother said, this is a nice book, you should read this book, all of you. And it's very good, see the Himalayas now is cooling me down. So this is a good book, a cooling book that can cool us all down. That book was cooling down mother as well. And the atmosphere lifted. So sometimes mother may be displeased with the situation, and somehow any Saj yogi can somehow turn the things around. I was not able to control that man. I don't speak the language. The man, but maybe I was at danger of getting a slap, and mother, in the end, mother decided to handle it herself. She said, leave him alone, Louis. I'll handle him." And she spoke to him, and then the guy left. But these incidents can happen, with people, with in any situation. But you see, I had benefited from those other situations. I knew now I have to do something if I can, better than what I've done so far. So that's why I improvised the fun with that book. I opened the book, the box of books is not my business, took a book out, and there you go.
Very
And then,
symbolic anyway. Yeah.
yes, it did the trick. Suddenly mother was smiling again. So we were learning gradually. None of us knew how to handle these situations. I mean, I was useless with these things. So I
Anyway,
think that's all the
um,
incidents at airport I can remember.
um,
Yeah, well, so I remember many wonderful incidents with no problem whatsoever. Lots of wonderful
no.
incidents.
I'm sure.
These are
I'm
these
sure
are these
you.
are the exceptions.
Yes, I'm sure you will have more incidents, or more.
Good incidents, only good
No, no,
incidents.
many memories. We are not looking only for the incidents. We are looking for the whole memory, but we are not afraid to remember the incidents. So I'm not the one who wants to forget them or not to talk about them. Everything who Shimataji is done or everything who happens to Shimataji have some importance. Not talking about that is not a good thing. So I believe your recollection are very good. But um, my plan is to meet again if you want it, because
Yes, I can record a few more.
there are few comments which I'm not able to do it now, and I'm sure there are few more other memories you can tell us. So I believe it's better to have them recorded. But let's do it some other time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us
Yes.
again.
For the
And
moment, yes. For the moment, I believe we can say
we've done
goodbye.
enough.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you very much, and thank you for the people who are watching us.
Thank you. You can stop recording. Yes.
Jai Shri
Thank you.
Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.